What if you woke up one day and realized you'd been living someone else's life? What if your child looked at you like a stranger? What if your reflection in the mirror made you cry, not because you were ugly, but because you were gone? What if, at 40, you had everything society told you to want, and nothing your soul needed? My name is Lily Carter, and this is the story of how I disappeared and then painted myself back to life. I was born on a cold November morning in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, St. Mary's Hospital, room 312. My mother screamed through 12 hours of labor. My father chain-smoked in the waiting room. We weren't rich. We weren't poor. We were fine. That word followed me like a shadow. Be fine. Act fine, don't make waves. Don't ask for more. My parents didn't say it out loud. They didn't have to. It lived in the way my mother sighed when I asked for art supplies instead of math workbooks. In the way my father patted my head and said, "Art doesn't pay bills, sweetheart. Be practical." So I did. I became the girl who got straight A's. The girl who never talked back. The girl who smiled even when her heart cracked. In high school, I was voted most likely to succeed. Not because I was brilliant, but because I was safe, predictable. I studied marketing at UW-Milwaukee because it sounded stable. I married David at 27 because he had a 401k, clean shirts and no emotional baggage, or so I thought. He was an accountant, quiet, steady. Our wedding had 150 guests, 3-tiered cake, and my mother crying into her napkin, whispering, "Finally she's settled." But no one saw me cry in the bathroom that night, mascara running down my cheeks, gripping the sink like it was the only thing holding me up. Because in that moment I knew I had just signed away the last piece of myself I still owned. Then came Emma, my beautiful, wild-hearted daughter. Born screaming, eyes wide open like she already knew the world was too heavy. I loved her fiercely, obsessively, and desperately. But love, I learned, isn't enough if you don't know how to be present. I turned motherhood into a project. Color-coded calendars, organic snacks, soccer sign-ups, piano lessons, pediatrician appointments synced to my Outlook. I told myself I was giving her structure. What I was really doing was hiding, behind schedules, behind achievements, behind the illusion of control. At work, I climbed. Fast. Became vice president of marketing by 36. Corner office. Leather chair. Team building retreats where we had to do trust falls and chant affirmations before coffee. I wore heels that pinched and blazers that felt like armor. Everyone called me Powerhouse. No one asked if I was happy. And then it happened. The Tuesday before my 40th birthday. Rain tapping against the glass wall of my downtown office. I stood there adjusting my collar, staring at my reflection. Perfectly coiffed hair, flawless foundation, designer suit. And I didn't recognize the woman looking back. Not because she was old, but because she was empty. Her eyes were tired. Her smile was rehearsed. Her soul was missing. I didn't think. I didn't plan. I grabbed my purse, texted my assistant out of office, personal day, and walked out. No explanation. No apology, just on. I drove to the Milwaukee Art Museum, sat in the lobby for 20 minutes, trembling, wondering what the hell I was doing. Then I saw the flyer. Beginner's acrylic painting. All materials provided. $35. No experience needed. I paid in cash. The instructor was Mrs. Rosen. 78? Silver curls, paint-splattered smock, eyes that had seen lifetimes. She took one look at me, shaking, silent, eyes red-rimmed, and handed me a brush. "Honey," she said softly, "your eyes are full of color. You just gotta let it out." I touched the canvas, white, pure, Terrifying. I dipped the brush in cobalt blue, and the moment it hit the surface, I broke. I sobbed. Loud, ugly, gasping sobs. I slashed crimson across the blue, smudged black in angry swirls. I painted like I was fighting, like I was bleeding, like I was trying to claw my way out of a grave I'd dug myself. People stared. Someone whispered. Mrs. Rosen just pulled up a stool beside me and said, "Let it out, sweetheart." Every drop. That night, I slept without Ambien for the first time in 7 years. The next week, I handed in my resignation. My boss, Jeff, blinked like I'd slapped him. "Lily, are you having a breakdown? Is this about the promotion? We can talk about compensation." "No, Jeff," I said, calm for the first time in decades. "This isn't a breakdown. It's a breakthrough." David's reaction was worse. "You're throwing away 15 years? For finger painting?" he hissed, pacing our immaculate living room, the one I'd decorated from Pottery Barn catalogs. "What about Emma? What about our mortgage? What about me?" "I'm not throwing anything away," I said quietly. "I'm picking myself up. We didn't divorce. We separated. A break, we called it. Sterile, polite, American. I moved into a tiny studio apartment near Lake Michigan. 1 room, 1 window, 1 bed. White walls begging for color. Emma didn't speak to me for 3 weeks. When she finally came to visit, arms crossed, jaw clenched, she looked around my bare space and sneered, "So this is your self-discovery phase? Real mature, Mom. Abandon your kid to find your inner artist? Cool." Each word was a knife. I didn't defend myself. I just handed her a sketchbook I'd filled with drawings of her, sleeping at 5, laughing at 8, scowling at 14. She flipped through it. Didn't say a word. Left it on the floor, but she didn't throw it away. America doesn't forgive women who start over at 40. My mother called weekly, "Beta. I mean, Lily. What will people say? You left your husband. Your job, at your age? Have you lost your mind?" My sister posted passive-aggressive memes on Facebook. Self-care is important. Unless you have responsibilities. Then it's called selfishness. Old friends stopped returning my calls. Neighbors forgot to wave. Even my dentist seemed disappointed in me during my cleaning appointment. "You look different. Are you okay?" But the worst pain? Emma. She'd come for weekends, sit glued to her phone, answer in grunts. Called me hypocrite when I tried to talk about feelings. Said I chose paints over her. Told her friends I was going through a quarter-life crisis, except, 20 years too late. I cried every night. Wrote letters I never sent. Painted portraits of her I never showed, until one day I painted us, me, holding her at 5 years old. Both of us laughing under cherry blossoms in Lake Park, back when she still climbed into my lap without hesitation. Back when Mom meant safety, not disappointment. I slipped it into her school locker. She texted me that night, not a word. Just a photo of the painting, propped up on her desk, hope, tiny, fragile, but there. Then came March 14th. I was working on a new piece, a bird bursting from a gilded cage, its wings streaked with Emma's favorite colors, violet, teal, gold. Hidden in the feathers, I'd painted her name, letter by letter like a prayer. The phone rang. David's voice, raw, panicked. "Lily, Emma didn't come home from soccer. Phone's dead. Coach hasn't seen her. Her friends don't know she's gone." The world stopped. I threw on my coat, keys jangling, heart hammering against my ribs, drove to her best friend's house. The mall, the library, the damn Starbucks she pretended to hate but secretly loved. Nothing. Police filed a report. Runaway teen, they said. Probably blowing off steam. She'll turn up. I didn't believe them. I stormed into her room, tore through drawers, scrolled through her iPad history, read every DM, found nothing. Then, behind her dresser, tucked under a stack of old concert tees, an envelope. Handwriting I knew better than my own. Mom, if you're reading this, I'm sorry. I needed to disappear, like you did. Maybe then you'll finally see me. I couldn't breathe. I grabbed her old sketchbook, the one we used to share when she was little. Flipped to the last page. There in faded pencil a small star. Beneath it, Lake Park Pier, our spot, where we fed ducks. Ate ice cream cones, where she fell asleep on my shoulder at sunset when she was 7. I ran, rain poured. Wind howled. I drove like a mad woman, windshield wipers slapping, tears blurring the road. Screaming her name into the storm, Emma, I'm coming! Please, wait for me! She was there, curled on a wet bench at the end of the pier, hoodie pulled tight, knees to chest. So small, so alone, I didn't speak. I just ran, slipped on the wet wood, crashed to my knees beside her, and wrapped my arms around her like I'd never let go. She didn't push me away. She melted, collapsed against me, shaking, sobbing into my coat. I thought, you didn't care anymore. I care, I choked out, kissing her rain-soaked hair. God, Emma, I care so much it terrifies me. I got lost, and I didn't know how to find my way back to you. She looked up, eyes swollen, voice broken. Then show me how to paint. That was 2 years ago. I'm 43 now. My studio, Carter and Daughter Art Collective, sits on Water Street between a vegan cafe and a vinyl record shop. We teach weekend workshops, paint your truth, mother-daughter canvas nights, rebirth at any age. Emma's 18 now. Still sarcastic. Still rolls her eyes when I dance in the kitchen. But she also models for my portraits. Helps me mix paints. Posts our collabs on TikTok. Midlife Renaissance has 500,000 views. David and I? We're okay. Better than okay. We co-parent with respect. He comes to our gallery shows. Brings flowers. We even went to couples counseling. Not to get back together, but to heal. Turns out we were both drowning. Just in different ways. My mom hangs my paintings in her living room now, right above the fireplace. My daughter the artist, she tells her bridge club. My sister follows me on Instagram. Likes every post, and me? I wake up every morning to sunlight on blank canvases. To Emma humming in the kitchen. To the smell of coffee and turpentine. To the sound of my own laughter. Real, unfiltered, unapologetic. People ask me, was it worth it? Losing your job? Your marriage? Your perfect life? I tell them, I didn't lose anything. I shed skin that didn't fit anymore. I stopped living a life designed by fear and started building one painted with courage. Yes, it hurt. Yes, I was scared. Yes, I failed. A lot. But at 40, I learned the most American truth of all. You don't need permission to reinvent yourself. You don't need applause to begin again. You just need to pick up the brush and dare to make the first stroke. My name is Lily Carter. I was born in Milwaukee. I got lost in spreadsheets, expectations, and other people's dreams. I found myself in paint, in rain, in my daughter's arms. And if you're reading this, feeling invisible, exhausted, trapped in a life that looks perfect on paper but feels like a prison in your bones, know this, it's not too late. Not at 40, not at 50, not ever. Your masterpiece hasn't even begun.